Hello people, welcome back to my series on building a minimal application. When we last left off, we recreated the basic functions for our Timecard application, and this time what we want to do is add command line arguments. So after we're done here, we should be able to call our program with command line arguments and have it perform the functions that we want it to do. So let's go ahead and delete our tests that we've got here, and we'll go ahead and create a variable called arguments, and we'll take in OS args. That will allow us to get the arguments that we have, and we can test this by, let's just write a little loop, and our loop will range through our arguments, and this will allow us to test these out. So if we do, so right now here we go, we've got our 3 files here. If we do go build Timecard, oh yes, so let's take a look at Timecard line 14. We have arg, range args. Let's see, this should work. Said it was, what did it say? Arg declared and not used. Oh yes, okay, so vim timecard 14, it should be used here. Let's print out the arg. So now if we build, we now have an executable. We can go timecard, and we'll say, hi, this is a test. And then we can see each of our arguments gets printed out, hi, this is a test. So that's how we do arguments in Go. So let's open this thing back up. And we'll delete this. Now, what we want to do is we want to decide how we want our usage to be. So we obviously want to have the first argument be our Timecard application, the path to it. And then we want to say, let's see, how do we want our usage to be? So let's go here, usage. Let's just say we want to say Timecard, and then we want to give it our project name, and then perhaps a command. So example, we'd want to be able to say Timecard, my project, and in, and that will create a new project, and say Timecard my project out, and that will allow us to check out of our project. Timecard, let's see, what are the other things that we want to do? We want to check in, we want to check out my project, say hours, and that should give us the hours that we've worked on that project in total. And that'll be good for now. We'll want to do also something like Timecard help to give us a list of commands that we can use. So those are the basic commands that we want to be able to have, and that's the basic structure that we need. So what we need to do is we need to validate our input. We need to say, okay, if our arguments are less than 2, if the length of our args is less than 2, we're going to want to tell people about the usage. So we'll just have this right now where we go usage, and then we'll say, actually, let's make this printf. The usage will be, we'll have the command, and then project name, and then command. And then let's do, okay, we'll give it args 0. And that will give us the path to our program. And that will be very simple. So then what we need to do is we need to make sure that it's not more than 3, because then we know that we've got something wrong here. So so if it's less than 2, or the length of the args is greater than 3. And that should take care of validation for the number of arguments that we have. Then what we need to do is we need to make sure that we have the proper project and commands. So we'll say if length of args equals 2, then this better we'll say to do help. And then if otherwise, what we'll do what we need to do is we need to break this thing up into a project and a command. So we'll have a project name, which will be args 1, because remember args 0 is the path to our executable. And then we'll have a command, which will be args 2. And so for now, let's print something out. We'll say this give help to user. And now let's see, let's print this out too. So one of the things that you'll want to do as you're developing is test what you're doing. And there's lots of different ways to do this. I'm using kind of the old school way where you just print out things in your code. A lot of people like to use log files or some other kind of mechanism. But we're just going to use the old school method here of just printing things out in your code. That way you can run it and test it, see what the output is. So we'll say our project name will be project name, and then we'll say our command will be our command. And that should be it for now. Let's test this out. Let's test several different things. So let's do a go build Timecard, go. And then we'll run Timecard. So if we just give it no commands, then it will give us a usage. Oh yes, so it looks like we have an error too. So if we go back here, so what happens here? Oh, so after we have our usage, we should return, because we're done here. We shouldn't go past this. Otherwise, we'll try to access things that aren't actually there. So let's go. This is why testing is good. So we'll build Timecard. So if we run it, then we should get a usage line, which we do. If we have Timecard and we say yo, then we need to give out help to the user, and we'll also have to write some stuff in to validate their input, because really they should be typing help here. So we'll have to give them a usage line here too. So we'll also have Timecard. Another thing that we can do is a project, so project name, and we can say we're going to have to check in or something like that. And so this seems to be working correctly. So it gave us, printed out our project name and our command, which is great. Now what happens if we say give it lots of things? here are too many arguments. Should give us a usage line, and it does. So now we know that this thing works as we expect it to. And let's go ahead and flesh out some of these things. So what we'll want to do is for help, okay, we need to say that if our args1 equals help, then we want to show help. Otherwise, what we want to do is we want to give a usage. Also, tell user how to ask for help. And we'll probably want to do that up here too. To do the user how to ask for help. There we go. So we want this application to be as usable as possible, and we want the person, even if they're fumbling around, to be able to figure out how to use it. And the best way to do that is to give them tell them how to ask for help. So now we've got that fleshed out a little bit, which we can go ahead and test that. So go build Timecard go, and if we run this, we should, let's see, if we say hi, right, say give a usage and also tell them how to ask for help. If we do help, then we show help. So now we know that we've got that put into place, so that's good. So let's go down here and let's try to pick apart the commands. So what we want to do is we want to do, say, a switch on the command. And we want to say, okay, if the case is in, we'll do one thing. Actually, we'll do a print. We'll do the in command, case out, do out command, hours, do hours command, default, error, invalid command. Actually, let's make this a printf, invalid command, and we'll give it a command there. So now we've kind of fleshed out how we want our control flow to happen. We want to be able to break the if everything follows through, and the person gave us a proper project name and a command, then we'll want to check that out, and we'll say, okay, based on the command they gave us, you know, they're either going to check in, check out, get their hours, or they've given us an invalid command. So that's pretty good. So let's check that out. We'll do a build Timecard go, and let's say let's call a project proj, and we'll check in, and then okay, we do the in command. Let's do out, and we do the out command. Hours, we've got the hours command working, and then junk says an invalid command junk, right? And then probably what we want to do is, since we're telling people how to do usage all the time, we should probably create a function for usage. where we tell the user, okay, let's do, in fact, we should say, let's give it the args, and we say usage give it a string and project name and command. And we'll also do a print line where we say for help type let's make this printf as well. Whoops. Let's go back up here. For help, type that. And we want to say help. And we'll say, okay, we're going to have args 0, args 0. So now we have our usage, so we don't have to type it over and over again. This is part of the don't repeat yourself or dry method. So let's replace some of our usage here with usage. Whoops. And then we'll do this, come usage. Invalid command. And we'll also put usage here just in case. So now it's starting to shape up with our command line. So we can do go build timecard.go. And let's see what we've got here. So it says not enough, oh yes, not enough arguments in call to usage. We need to give it our arguments, right? So we're going to give it args, args, args. Oops. Let's see, I think that's good. Okay, so we should be able to do go build timecard.go. There we go. So if you give it timecard proj in, right? So that gives us in. Let's see if we do junk, right? So it gives us an error invalid command and also gives us a usage. Oh, so we're missing a new line here in our usage. So that's always good to test. So let's move this over here, and we'll put a new line there. And we'll also put a new line after help. So if we build timecard, and we have timecard proj junk, now we get a little bit better system. So we've got an error message and a usage message, and we also tell the person how to ask for help. So one of the things that we can do now is we can remove one of our print statements that we're using, this one, that we're using for testing, and now we can actually use our projects. So we can say, okay, we want to check in with the project name. And check out project name. And we can do hours, which, what did we name it? We actually called it list time. So let's go back up here and say list time project name. And we should have the basics of our program built out. So go build timecard.go. Now if we do timecard proj in, it created a new project for us. So if we try to check into something that doesn't exist, it will automatically create a project for us. This is great. It simplifies things for us. And then what we can do is we can say, okay, let's check out of that project. And hopefully it checked us out. So if we take a look, we can say, okay, it looks like it created a proj file for us, proj. And if we do, say, timecard hours, it actually gives us a list of the total hours that we've had. So let's say we check in again. We need to test if we can check in and out multiple times. So we wait for a little while. We do some work, and then we check out, and then we can check our hours, and we can see that the time is going up. So it seems to be adding all the times together, which is great. Now, there are still a few problems here with our input because people make mistakes, right? So right now, if we give a problem like check in, our program actually allows someone to check in multiple times. And as far as our file goes, if we take a look at our proj file, it just records times, and there's no difference between a check-in or check-out time. The only difference is its position in the file. So the first time is always a check-in, or the odd positions are check-in times, and even positions are check-out times. So we don't want someone to accidentally check in twice, right? They may think they're checking into something when they've already checked in, and they end up checking out of a project. So that would be bad. It would also be bad to check out of a project that you're already checked out of. That would inadvertently check you in. So what we need to do is we need to put a boundary check, right? A condition on this to where we prevent a person from making these kinds of mistakes. And it may not seem like it's part of a minimal application, but validation of input is extremely important. To have what seems like a minimal application to a user, you need to make it as simple and as foolproof to use as possible. So the person should not be having to hold all this stuff in their mind to be able to use the project. So that is one of the reasons for the simplification of creating a project. So if I do, say, timecard project 2, if it doesn't exist, it will create it for me, or it should actually. So project 2 in, right? So it creates the project for me. So I don't have to have a separate command for creating a project. I just know I always check into a project when I'm checking into it. If it doesn't exist, it will create a new one for me. That's a great simplification for someone. And that's one less command that a person has to remember or use. Similarly, we don't want people to check in multiple times or check out multiple times in a row. And that's a great simplification for the user. So if they forget, they're like, oh, did I already check in or not? trying to check in again will allow them to confirm whether they have already checked into the project, because we'll have a printed out message that says, hey, you've already checked into this project. Or if they try to check out multiple times, we can tell them, it's like, hey, you've already checked out of this project. And that will be a great simplification to the user. It relieves them from having to worry, and they don't have to go in and try to count the number of lines and say, oh, is there an even or odd number of lines or anything like that. It's all seamless to them. And I think we're going to leave it there for now. We'll create all of these checks along with our help next time. So thanks for watching, people. Till next time.